Wide, well-paved modern highways certainly appear to be the safest roads on which to drive. Just the opposite is true, however. Accident statistics prove that most rural accidents occur on straight roads. This means that you must use extra caution and skill on the highway just because the roads are so smooth and the driving seems so effortless. There are two dangerous factors to be reckoned with in highway driving: the greater rate of speed at which the car is traveling, and the lulling effect of speed on smooth roads, which can reduce the alertness of the driver. To stay alert and drive skillfully, you must first master the fundamentals of driving and then learn to look for clues, just as a detective does. Clues that will tell you what's about to happen on the road ahead. By concentrating on clues and anticipating the actions of other vehicles on the road, you will become an experienced highway driver, prepared to meet any situation that may develop. But before you can begin to spot these clues, you must know the rules of highway driving: the correct driving speed, the proper lane to drive in, how to maintain a safe following distance, how to pass on the highway, and what to look for at intersections. Highway speed limits vary in almost all the 48 states. Wherever you drive, always look for speed limit signs and stay well within the speed allowed. Even if you are traveling in states with no set highway speed limit, follow the basic rule on speed. Never exceed a speed which is safe and reasonable for existing conditions. This means a highway speed which conforms to the flow of traffic and is so controlled that you can quickly stop the car whenever necessary. Main highways are usually divided into marked lanes which guide the flow of traffic. As a general rule, drive in the right lane on rural highways. However, on some modern highways, there are markings to indicate different lanes for different types of travel. The best rule is to keep to the right and watch lane markings for other directions. The center lanes on 3- and 4-lane highways are for passing only. Move into these lanes with great caution, particularly on a 3-lane highway, to avoid the danger of a head-on collision with another car, which has pulled out into the center lane. To develop your skill in highway driving, always stay in the proper lane. Keep good control of the car so it doesn't veer off onto the shoulder. And remember to share the road by observing all lane markings. Learning to master a safe following distance, that is, how close to follow the car ahead, is one of the most challenging skills in highway driving. It's easy to see that too many drivers follow too closely. Many a minor and major accident is caused when cars following too closely are forced to stop suddenly. To maintain a safe distance behind the car, many good drivers use this simple rule. For each 10 miles per hour of speed, stay at least 20 feet, or slightly over 1 car length behind the car you are following. At 20 miles, it's 40 feet, or more than 2 car lengths. At 30 miles, it's 60 feet, or more than 3 car lengths. And at 50 miles per hour, it's 100 feet, or well over 5 car lengths. Even these distances, which are difficult to judge from the driver's seat, may not be enough if the car ahead stops suddenly. The best rule is to keep as far behind as the pressure of traffic will allow. And stay alert for the clues, which will tell you what the drivers ahead are likely to do. Normally, in any kind of traffic, we pass other vehicles on the left. However, it is sometimes easier and legally permissible to pass on the right on some multiple lane highways. Never pull out to pass or change lanes unless you can do so without endangering other traffic. But before you pass any vehicle, there are 3 rules to observe. Look through the mirror and out the left window to make sure that no cars are approaching from the side or rear. Give the same hand signal that you use for a left turn, and sound your horn so the driver ahead will know that you intend to pass him. Move out of your lane carefully and check to make sure you have sufficient clear distance ahead to pass the other car safely. Safe passing requires more time and clear distance than most drivers realize. It takes about 10 seconds to pass another car. And when another car is passing you, or passing a car coming in the opposite direction, slow down and give him room to cut in ahead, even if he has picked the wrong time to attempt the pass. Never attempt to pass another car at an intersection, on a curve, going up a hill, or at any other time when visibility is poor. And remember to keep well to the right going up hills, just in case someone approaching from the other side is foolishly trying to pass. Pedestrians on country roads should walk on the left side of the road, facing oncoming traffic. But you can't always depend on this. So slow down when you see pedestrians on the highway and pass them carefully. Use your privilege for passing in moderation. Don't try to dart in and out of traffic on the highway. And always signal your intention to pass with your hand and horn during the day, and by flicking your headlights and sounding your horn at night. And don't forget, you should never attempt to pass a car unless you have plenty of time and space to do it safely. There are 4 different ways of controlling intersections on the highway. 1, a police-controlled intersection. 2, a light-controlled intersection. 3, a sign-controlled intersection. And 4, an uncontrolled intersection where there are no signs or signals. At all police-controlled intersections, obey the directions of the officer regardless of what the signs or signals may say. However, if you are approaching an unmarked intersection, follow the rules of right-of-way. 1, a car on a major thoroughfare has the right-of-way over cars crossing or entering from minor roads or driveways. 2, if 2 cars on different roads reach an uncontrolled intersection at the same time, it's the sportsmanlike thing for the man on the left to yield to the driver approaching from his right. 3, a car approaching an intersection yields the right-of-way to any car which has already entered the intersection. In any situation involving the rules of right-of-way, proceed with caution. If you see another vehicle approaching an intersection, slow down so you'll have ample time to stop if he disregards your right-of-way. it's better to let the other car go first rather than claim the right of way at risk of a collision. Railroad crossings can be considered a type of intersection, requiring extra caution in country as well as city driving. Whether or not the crossing is marked with signal devices, slow down and look carefully in both directions. It's the train that has the right of way, not the car. And if you're waiting for a train to pass, don't start up until you're sure another train is not coming from the opposite direction. And never shift gears while crossing railroad tracks. It's no place to stall the engine. If you know the fundamental rules of highway driving, the correct driving speed, the proper lane to drive in, how to maintain a safe following distance, how to pass on the highway, and what to look for at intersections. If you know them, then you will be able to concentrate your attention on the clues that will tell you what's about to happen on the road ahead. Clues like a moving cloud of dust, which can tell you that a car is approaching on a side road. Or clues like a sign telling you to watch for road construction ahead. In fact, all standard highway signs are very good clues that can tell you what's ahead of you on the road. Because of the greater speeds attained and the lulling effect of speed on smooth roads, safe, skillful highway driving calls for complete control of the car and constant attention on the road ahead.
The blinding glare of lights, limited visibility, the darkness itself, all add to the complex pattern of traffic on our streets and highways at night. No wonder it takes concentration and real skill at the wheel to drive safely after dark. This means that you must master all the fundamentals of driving before you take to the roads after the sun has set. Of course, driving at night can be mighty pleasant. But don't forget that there are dangers hidden in every shadow on the road ahead. In fact, 60% of all fatal automobile accidents occur at night. So naturally, you must be more cautious and more alert, in complete control of the car at all times and ready to react at any time to the changing situations on the road ahead. There's no doubt about it, driving at night requires real skill at the wheel, for only an extra measure of caution and alert observation can guarantee you a safe journey through the dark. Poor visibility and fatigue are the most dangerous factors to beware of when you're driving at night. Even during the day in the city or out on the highway, the changing pace of traffic requires many split-second decisions when you're behind the wheel. But at night, the problems are multiplied many times over. Flickering lights, flashing signs, and moving vehicles all compete for your attention. And if you're tired or your headlights aren't clean and clear, you can't drive safely. To make sure you can see the road ahead and are obeying the law, always turn on your headlights about half an hour before sunset, or at any other time when visibility is limited. And if you park at night away from city streetlights, pull off the highway and leave your parking lights on. But turn on your headlights when you start up again. Remember, even with good headlights, you can't identify objects at distances over 150 feet at night. The range of even the brightest headlights is far less than the stopping distance required at speeds over 50 miles per hour. Don't overdrive your headlights. If you're going too fast, by the time you've reacted to an emergency, put your foot on the brake and stop the car, you may be involved in an accident. However, at a slower rate of speed, you'll be able to stop well within the range of your headlights. So the first rule for safe driving at night is to reduce speed. Besides knowing the range, it's important to know the use of your headlights. When you're driving in the country, turn your lights on bright. However, when another car is approaching or you're following a car, dim your headlights from the bright to depressed position. This reduces glare and illuminates the road in front of the car where you need the light. And when you're following a car, keep your lights in the depressed position. As you approach to pass, flick your headlights from dim to bright several times before you pull out. This, like dimming your lights for approaching cars, is a courtesy of the road, one to remember and practice whenever you're driving at night. And when other cars are approaching, slow down and look not at the headlights of the other cars, but at the right edge of the road. This reduces the chance of your being temporarily blinded by headlight glare. But don't forget the other car. When you drive around a curve, even in daylight, you have to slow down because you can't see what may be hidden around the bend. At night, it's even more important to slow down because your headlights slant diagonally across the road as you turn, and you can't see the right side of the road ahead. Once in a while, you may meet a car with only one headlight. Since you can't be sure whether it's the right or left headlight that's burned out, slow down and pull over to the right to allow plenty of passing room. Keep your eyes on the road at all times. Don't light matches, cigarette lighters, or turn on inside lights when you're driving at night. Inside lights create a glare in front of your eyes and reduce the range of your vision. And during the time you take your eyes off the road, you can easily have an accident. Because your range of visibility is limited at night, it's often very difficult to see bicycle riders or pedestrians on the road ahead. During the day, of course, it's easy to spot pedestrians walking on the highway, but at night, they're a special hazard to the driver. In fact, the majority of fatal pedestrian accidents occur after dark. Many times a pedestrian, seeing the lights of a car in the distance, thinks that he can be seen by the driver from a far greater distance than is actually possible. As a general rule, pedestrians should face oncoming traffic and wear light clothing or carry a flashlight. But you can't depend on this, so drive slower and watch carefully for pedestrians at night. Fatigue is an even greater hazard in night driving because you're naturally not as alert after a long day's work. When you're tired, you become less vigilant. You're likely to lose your sense of judgment about distance and speed. Your reaction time slows up, and you may even fall asleep at the wheel. And if this happens, you might not always be as lucky as this driver, who could have hit a pole, gone in the ditch, or hit another car. If you begin to feel sleepy at any time when you're driving, whether in the day or at night, pull off the road immediately and stop. Get out of the car and stretch. Let somebody else take the wheel if possible, or even take a nap if the exercise and fresh air don't wake you up. But don't try to drive until you feel rested and wide awake again. You're only asking for trouble if you continue to drive while tired. Yes, fatigue and poor visibility are the two greatest hazards in driving at night. Each can affect your ability to handle the car skillfully in all kinds of traffic. When you do drive at night, remember to reduce your speed, use your headlights correctly and courteously, and be sure that you've mastered all the fundamentals of driving before you get behind the wheel at night.